Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and let's get into this. Let's not waste any time. Tonight what I have for everyone is my follow-up review of the CMF Watch Pro 2, this one being from an Android user's perspective. Now, this one is not going to be as in-depth as my first review from an iOS user's perspective. This one is basically just going to focus on my overall experience, okay, and some of the things that I like and don't like using the CMF Watch Pro 2 from an Android user's perspective. And again, I'm going to tell you guys and gals if I'm going to keep this smartwatch moving forward, okay? And spoiler alert, I'm actually going to keep this because I picked up the last two CMF products. One of those videos will be coming out tomorrow, and then the other video will be coming out later on in the week, next week. So I am going to be using this smartwatch with the entirety of the CMF lineup. So we are going to be using it with either the Buds Pro 2 or the Neckband 2. And we are going to be using it with the CMF Phone 1. Okay? So after I use it with all of those products, I'm going to come back and do a final follow-up / wrap-up review. But I've been using it now pretty much heavily for almost a week, exclusively with Android, and it's pretty much tracking the same way as it was tracking when I did my iOS review. So I figured no point in stretching out the review longer than it needs to be if everything is trending and performing the same way as my first initial review. Alright? So with that being said, without further ado, let's get into the review of the CMF Watch Pro 2 from an Android user's perspective. Okay? And let's not waste any time. Let's just jump into the positives and the negatives here. Okay? I'm going to have the full list thrown up in post. Keep in mind, this is from an Android user's perspective. Okay? Now, we're going to start off with the positives first. Okay? This dark gray. I really do like the overall look and design of this dark gray color, especially with my clear Pixel here, okay, or rocking my Pixel in the faux carbon fiber case. This is a really, really nice combination. I really like it. So I really do like the overall build quality and design of the watch, and I do like the overall look of the watch. Okay, that's positive number one. Okay, positive number two, the battery life. The battery life of this watch is phenomenal. Like I talked about from the other review, the battery life on this is phenomenal. Right now, I'm on my second charge. Okay, there you guys and gals can see the date. And you can see I'm on my second charge, and I just hit 29%. Okay, so this is going to easily last me 7 days. Okay, so that makes the battery life on this watch phenomenal. Okay, and that also makes the charge times phenomenal as well. I think I messed it up in my first initial review. I corrected it in post, but they stated that this watch should take 100 minutes to reach a full charge. That is an hour and 40 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Yes, an hour and a half is 90 minutes. So 100 minutes would be an hour and 40. 100 minutes would be an hour and 40 minutes. And it was charging up just below that. So the charge times of this watch are exactly as advertised, if not a little bit better. And that's another area where this watch is really good. Okay? I'm going to talk about why it's bad in that area as well, but we're going to save that for the negatives category. But that's another positive. The battery life and the overall charge times of this watch is really good to phenomenal, right? And then the other positives, and this is probably the other positive, and this is probably the last one, is the overall price. The price of this watch is phenomenal, okay? I'll throw up the pricing and current availability in post when we get to the end of the video, but this watch is available for a really great price, okay? So that summarizes all the positives of the CMF Watch Pro 2 from an Android user's perspective, okay? Now, let's talk about the negatives. And pretty much all the negatives that I pointed out from my first review from an iOS user's perspective are still here. And the major negative being the software and the connectivity, okay? And even more in terms of the software, certain watch faces and features are exclusive to certain OSs. And this is supposed to be a universal smartwatch. So by far the major negative of the smartwatch is the overall software and the experience, okay? And when we talk about software, I'm not talking about the software experience on the watch itself. The software experience on the watch itself and the overall navigation is actually really, really good. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes like second nature, right? What I'm talking about here in regards to the software, I'm talking about the software in regards to the companion application, okay? The companion application differs in features depending on whether if you're using an Android device or an iOS device. And you have access to certain watch faces depending on if you're using an Android device or an iOS device. It should not be that way. It should be uniform in terms of the software and app experience across the board. So by far, the first major negative that I experienced with the CMF Watch Pro 2, and it's painfully evident, is the software experience in regards to the companion application and the features. Okay, it's not uniform across the board, and it should be. So that's negative number one. Negative number two, okay, the connectivity. The connectivity of the smartwatch is just bad. It's very intermittent is the best way I can explain it, because it could be connected, right? And let me show you. It's connected right now, but perfect example. It could be connected, but then the application will get cleared from memory and it will lose connection, and then you see right there, it has to reconnect. And when it gets cleared from memory, at that point, I don't get any of my notifications, I don't get any of my phone calls, I don't get any of my text messages until I reconnect it via the application. And that's by far the second major negative of the smartwatch, the intermittent connectivity, okay? CMF, you guys have really got to clean up the connectivity issues, all right? Because I've done everything that I can think of to make sure I guarantee connectivity with the smartwatch. I've went into the application, I went down to the permissions, and I've granted the application all the necessary permissions that it needs not to clear out of the memory. I've granted all of the necessary permissions so it doesn't clear out of the memory. And I even went in on the back end and I turned on all the permissions in Android for this particular application so the permissions don't clear out of memory. Okay? Everything that you can do to make sure that you don't miss a notification, I've done it. And that really doesn't help, because the minute it gets cleared from memory, that connection is gone. Okay? And I even went so far as to jump into the settings and then go down to applications. This is something you can do if you don't want applications to be cleared from memory. You go into your applications, then you open up the application that you don't want to be cleared, and then down here, okay, you can make it so it does not clear from the memory, okay? There's a feature here, And you can see it's right there. Pause application activity if unused. I check that off because with that checked on, if the application is not used for a certain amount of time, it will clear the application from the memory and then I will lose my connection. So because I don't want it to lose the connection, I check that off. So this particular application has access to the memory of my device at all times. And you can see I even gave it the ability to modify the system. Okay, I went in and I gave this application all the permissions. Okay, just because I was trying to alleviate it clearing itself from memory. And it still cleared itself from memory. All right, so that connectivity issue is by far the biggest issue with the CMF Watch Pro 2. And that was also a big issue with the first generation CMF Watch Pro. And I'm very sad to see that CMF has not fixed that issue here on the second generation. Okay? That by far is the biggest negative here. Biggest. And yeah, man, I mean, in terms of the negatives, that about does it. And then there's all of my other negatives from the first review that I did. And if we're just being honest, the last major negative is the charging pogo pin connector, okay? It is a hassle to connect it. If you leave it connected, sometimes it doesn't provide power. You have to plug it out and plug it back in. And I found to make sure that it always works, when I'm not charging, I just unplug it. Then when I plug it in again to charge, it works every time. So that's not one of those chargers that you can leave plugged in, right? Similar to how you use your phone charger or your Apple Watch charger. That's not one of the chargers that you can leave plugged in and then just go drop the CMF Watch Pro 2 on it and it will charge. No. If you do that, there's a high likelihood that it won't charge and then you'll be stuck fiddling with it and plugging it in and out to make sure it starts charging. So that is the third major negative of the CMF Watch Pro 2. The charging pogo pin connector or magnetic style connector that they use is not the best. And now, as I said in my other review, I understand why they did use this connector, because that allows them to get a faster speed than using a wireless style connecting charging format. But in all honesty, I would be okay with the slower charging if I had a wireless charging solution for this watch, because that wireless charging solution will make it a lot more convenient and easier to charge. And I really don't like how I've had to fight with the pogo pin style magnetic connector to charge the watch. And again, I don't like how the charging is intermittent if I decide to leave the charger connected to a wall brick or my computer. I don't like how that's intermittent, okay? So that by far is the third major negative of the CMF Watch Pro 2. Alright? So that goes over the positives. That goes over the negatives. Let's get into the final part. Let's talk pricing. Let's talk overall availability. Let me get into sharing my final thoughts and make another overall recommendation. Now, similar to my first review, the pricing has not changed, but also similar to my first review, I have to let you guys and gals know this. The CMF Watch Pro 2 did come into the channel thanks in large part to the Amazon Vine program. What does that mean? That means that this product came into the channel completely free of charge, and all I had to do was use the product and write up and submit a full written review to be published on Amazon, and then this product is mine to keep. Okay? Which I've done. The review has been up for almost a month now. Okay? But, as I always say, regardless of how I get a product into the channel, I reserve the right to keep it straight 100 around here. and give you guys and gals my honest opinions on these products. So if this would have came in free of charge to the channel and I didn't like it and it sucked, I would tell you why I don't like it, why I don't recommend it, and why it sucks. Vice versa, if this came into the channel and it was absolutely phenomenal and I loved it and I could recommend it, I would tell you why I love it, why it's phenomenal, and why I recommend it. Okay? How I get something into the channel does not affect my overall opinions on the product whatsoever. Okay? That being said, I did do my due diligence, as I always do, and this product is actually still up on Amazon for the same price. I do believe it was, $59 or $69. I have B-roll of the current pricing and availability of the watch thrown up in post and its colors. That being said, can I recommend that you guys and gals pick up this smartwatch if you're in the market for an inexpensive smartwatch like this? Yes, I can, but let me explain. Okay? If you decide to pick this up, you need to be sure that this does everything that you need it to do before you pick it up. And you also need to understand the shortcomings of it. Okay? This is not a perfect product by any means. There are definitely some major areas that CMF has to work on to fix this product. Right? Primarily, like I pointed out before, the charging mechanism, okay, the software and the application, and the connectivity. Those are by far the three major downfalls of the smartwatch, okay? If you feel as though those shortcomings are not a deal breaker for you, then yes, I can recommend this smartwatch, okay? But if you feel like those are some big deal breakers and you feel like, okay, it's not worth it, then you may want to pass on this one. And then also, as I said before in my other review, there are features that are missing from this smartwatch that are available on other smartwatches in this pricing category and tier price category. But, okay, and it's a big but, those other smartwatches do not have the battery life that this smartwatch has. So, yes, it's not perfect. There are features missing, like the ability to respond to messages via different applications, via the onboard microphone or a software keyboard. And there is not the ability on iOS to reply back to text messages. You do have the ability to reply back to text messages on Android, but you don't have that ability on iOS. And even on Android, it's very limited because you got to go in and record your pre-responses to the text messages, and then you access them later on. Okay? So it's still very restrictive, even though you have that feature on Android. Right? But as I said, if you feel as though this watch can cover all the use cases that you want to pick it up for, yes, I can recommend it, especially at that price. But if you feel like the negatives that I pointed out across the coverage so far are deal breakers for you, then yes, I can also say you may want to pass on it, right? There are other options like the Apple Watch SE and the first generation Pixel Watch that can be had for a little bit more than this smartwatch, okay? And are full-featured smartwatches, right? But the shortcomings of those other full-featured smartwatches are they do suffer in terms of battery life. The battery life on this smartwatch is phenomenal. The battery life on the Pixel Watch, first or second generation, as well as the Apple Watch SE, is passable at best. Okay? Same thing too for the charge times, okay? Now the charge times on the other two watches, like the Apple Watch SE and the Pixel Watch, that really depends on the style of charger that you have. Now, this fast charger that I have for my Apple Watch SE has been phenomenal. The full review on this one is coming soon. Okay? But if you use the stock chargers for the Pixel Watch or the Apple Watch SE, the charge times are going to be dramatically slower than what you would get on the CMF Watch Pro 2. Okay? So, I just wanted to point that out. Now, with that being said, I already told you guys and gals, I do have the rest of the CMF products coming into the channel. So now I'm going to use the CMF Watch Pro 2 with the other CMF products, and I'm going to let you guys and gals know how the whole CMF product line works with each other. It might be the best experience ever. Kind of like the Apple products. When you use all Apple products together, it's a super seamless and straightforward experience. Similar to for all the Pixel products. If you use all Pixel products, it's a super seamless and fluid experience. Hopefully, I get that same experience using all CMF products. I'm going to let you guys and gals know in a future follow-up video. Alright? But that, guys and gals, does it for tonight's video. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you did, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Also, if you guys and gals would like to see more videos like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. And make sure you click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when new videos go live on the channel. Also, please feel free to follow me across all the social media platforms. I do my best to make sure I publish all my videos across all the social media platforms. So if you want to doubly or guarantee that you get notified when new videos go live, please follow me across all the social media platforms. I'll link up all my social media handles down below as well. Also, if this video piqued your interest and you would like to know where you can pick up any product featured in today's video, or you would like to see any more continued coverage of all the products featured in today's video, whether it's the CMF products, the Apple products, or the Pixel products, so on and so forth, I'll link up all of my extended coverage on the CMF Watch Pro and all of the CMF products, and all of my favorite coverage on the Pixel products and the Apple products that I've covered. Alright, so down below in the video description will truly be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. Also down below in the video description will be affiliated by links. If you guys and gals decide to make your purchase using those affiliate buy links, I do get a small percentage of commission that I do put back into the channel at no additional cost to you guys and gals. So those affiliate buy links, in my opinion, are like a win-win for everyone. Okay? Okay. Recording the video this evening, I am using the rear-facing camera on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. This evening's video is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. Now, side note, I was trying to use the microphones on the CMF Neckband Pro, but similar to the microphones on the CMF Buds Pro and Buds Pro 2, for some strange reason, I can't get it to connect up via Bluetooth and pass through the audio from the microphones on my Galaxy devices. So I will have to use the Pixel device to do the microphone test for the CMF Neckband Pro. Okay, but y'all be on the lookout for that video as well. And let me know how you guys and gals feel about the overall video quality and the overall audio quality down below in the comments. As always, all of your feedback is greatly appreciated. Just remember to keep it respectful, please. Alright? I hope everyone is having a great evening. I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. We are out of here. Peace. Alright. Yeah, man, I really didn't see the need to do another long drawn out review process, because all the data was trending the same way. The charge metrics, the battery life, the notification and connectivity issues, it was all trending the same way. So I figured I'd just get this last video or this next video out the way, because we are going to do one more video with all of the CMF products. Okay? So, that being said, I'm making this longer than it needs to be. I'm sorry. Once again, we are out of here. Have a good one, everyone, and I'll catch you guys and gals on the next one. Peace.